And on this Veterans Day, we highlight a group that doesn't often receive a lot of attention, a group that recently chose Phoenix to hold its 20th biennial reunion. Producer Christina Estes and photographer Scott Olson have the story.
These women represent hundreds of years of military service.
I'm Susie. S-D-E. I'm Maddie.
They're members of the National Association of Black Military Women. Retired Army Colonel Stephanie Dawson is their leader.
One of the key missions of Nabmw is to make sure that her story is told to round out his story.
That's my sister.
Like her sister, Dr. Doris Allen enlisted in the Army after graduating from college. This three-time Bronze Star recipient and member of the Military Intelligence Hall of Fame was motivated by her brother's World War II experience.
He was shell-shocked, just like PTSD now. It's the same thing. But I saw that. I didn't recognize it, of course. And I asked him, well, what happened? And he was telling me what happened. He got a Purple Heart anyway. And I said, I'm going to get him for that.
She served 3 years in Vietnam as a POW interrogator and intelligence analyst.
I was there for 10 combat campaigns. I drank every day. At least I didn't smoke pot. At least I didn't use drugs, other drugs. But I drank every day. And that was a release. Many people drank in Vietnam. Many came home still alcoholics and drug addicts. And I thank God every day that I'm alive and well.
Gratitude is on display at the group's reunion. Tables are covered with poster boards that highlight servicewomen with a special focus on the World War II generation.
And I remember seeing her.
Major Charity Adams was the first African-American woman to be an officer in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps, later renamed the Women's Army Corps. Adams commanded the Army's Central Postal Directory Battalion. Known as 6888, it was the only battalion of black women to serve overseas during World War II.
They worked in England and in France.
Before Adams made history in Europe, she endured racism at home. In the early 1940s, Adams was among nearly 40 black women in the Corps' first training class held in Des Moines, Iowa. That's also where Azalea Oliver attended basic training.
And it was interesting. We lived in a hotel. The blacks lived on the top 3 floors and the whites lived on the lower 3 floors. They did everything first and we did everything later.
It didn't get any better after Oliver was sent to Fort Riley, Kansas. After a crash course in nursing, they had to care for soldiers who didn't care for them. Oliver says when a member of the Women's Army Corps known as WAC would complain, the captain would march them down to the commander's office.
The commandant was from Texas and he hated black people. And he used to say, here comes them GD in wax to complain. And it got to be a joke with us. We could laugh at that. But it also made a point because eventually we went down there so often that he put out a memorandum to the entire hospital that the next soldier who called a whack out of her name could go home dead or alive. He didn't care, but he wasn't having to put up with us anymore.
It doesn't really make me mad. It makes me appreciate even more what they overcame.
Whenever they show pictures of the past, what the country has done or what a group has done, they always leave us out. But yet we're expected to perform willingly with smiles on our faces.
Right now, I'm 80 years old, and if it were possible, I'd still be in the military.
Sammy Clay enlisted in the Air Force at the age of 18 and served during the Vietnam and Korean Wars.
It teaches young people, it teaches discipline, it teaches a degree of respect, it teaches, it teaches all the things that I don't think they're learning right now.
Recognizing the past was the goal of 20 women who gathered at a Virginia home in 1976. It marked the start of the National Association of Black Military Women.
Thank you.
The group has grown to 6 chapters with members in 28 states.
This is my youngest daughter.
They hold reunions every 2 years to remember the good and bad.
We did it all.
And to cherish the present.
Life is okay. The war was then, but I live it every day. at night, I dream. I still dream. I still have the startle effect. I still have all of those things that make you feel stupid sometimes when you get startled or whatever, and people look at you and I have to tell them, hey, I have PTSD. So, but that's all right. I'm fine. But when you've done your job well, and I think all of us feel that way, we did our job well, and we have nothing more to prove.